In the 41st millennium, war ravages the galaxy. Mankind is beset by enemies from all sides. The Xenos, the Mutant, and the Heretic. Only one can save mankind. They are the Nerds.
Hey hobby nerds, welcome to another video from the Nerds with Attitude podcast. I'm Gary and I'm bringing you a new series of videos about tabletop wargaming. We're going to be kicking it off with Games Workshop's new 8th edition of Warhammer 40k and their new box set, The Dark Imperium. First up are a couple pins that I received with my pre-order. It's a Plague Marine from the Death Guard and a brand new Primaris Space Marine from the promotional artwork that you can find on the box and inside the White Dwarf and some of the instructions. After that is the brand new White Dwarf. Great magazine, full of a lot of good resources. You have painting tips inside, you have breakdowns of what's inside the Dark Imperium box. This is a monthly magazine that usually has something to do with the pre-orders for that week. There's going to be some models that are shown for some ideas on what you can do with your paint scheme, and there's also a battle report that goes through the whole new foundation of Warhammer. They did a complete rewrite of the rules, so it really goes into depth on what changes have been made and how it plays out in an actual game. Here's the breakdown for what different armaments the new Marines get, and as well as the new Death Guard. New chapter colors, also some old chapter colors. They did make some new Space Marine chapters for Primaris in particular, so you have a new set of customization as far as chapters. Is not the same palette as what we had before in the past. Further on into the magazine, we'll see step-by-step painting tips for particular things that people have emailed or written into White Dwarf to ask about with their Heavy Metal team. Heavy Metal is Game Workshop's painting team that paints all of their models. So that is the White Dwarf magazine for this issue. Next up are the new indexes. These are the pre's to the codexes. Codexes are not out yet, but we do have indexes now. So like, for instance, this is index number 1, which are Space Marines. It is for the most part all the Space Marine chapters we had before. All compacted down into the new 8th edition rule set, which now has points like before, or the easier version where it's now a power rating. Haven't looked into it too much. I'm a point person, but I'll get into more of that later. Next up, we have the index for Imperium 2. This is the rest of the Imperium. Imperial Guard, Imperial Knights, which is something reason why I have this. Imperial Agents, which is your assassins, your Inquisition. You know, if you are a non-Astartes player, this is the book that you need. It has all the breakdown for that. Next is the Chaos Index, which will have all the Traitor Space Marine Legions, the Demons, everything you need for Chaos. It's all broken down into this, including some of the Plague Guard from the box set. Next are very large placards of missions. It was a pre-order thing I got for free. All the missions that are in the book are here on large placards, so it's easy to look at, easy to read. You don't have to go through the book. You've got this on hand. So I don't know if they still are giving them out when you go in to go buy it, but if you see one and you get your hands on it, it's a pretty nice thing to have. It's just super easy reference. Next up is the box itself. On the cover you see is traditional Games Workshop custom art that they've had done through contractors. We open up, it's a slip cover. This is different than before. Normally it's just a box you open up, but they've got a special sleeve now over the top of this with artwork on all sides of the sleeve. The back shows you the makeup of all the armies, what they look like painted. It gives you a little bit of fluff, a little bit of a background of the box itself. Next we have the promotional artwork that they've been using for 8th edition before we even knew anything about 8th edition. You've seen it everywhere. Now you have it in your box set. It's kind of nice to have. It's really, really nice painting. Underneath this we have all the sprues. We've got all of our fully loaded Primaris Marines, an entire army of Primaris Marines and an entire army of Death Guard, Plague Marines, Poxwalker, and I cannot remember what the flyer is right now. I'm sorry, I'm not a Chaos player. But anyway, so here's our primary Space Marines on the sprues. You can get a real good look at the detail. As normal with the box sets, they're kind of the almost snap to fit. It's your pose is already figured out for you. With anything with Games Workshop, it's a box set. It takes a lot of customizing in order to make it look like your own, but this is meant for someone just jumping in. You don't have to think about it. You follow the instructions, and the character's going to look exactly what it looks like in the instructions. So it's really easy to put together. You still got to use your glue. You still got to trim everything, but you're going to get a pose that's going to look real nice. You don't have to think about composition with these starter sets. So it's really nice. Of course, when we get into this, we're going to be chopping these things up, and we're going to make them look a lot different than what they look like as far as the primary Space Marines. But that's going to be for later videos. So continuing on, this sprue right here is more Death Guard again. You can tell it looks more epoxy, more gross, more spikes. Spikes equal evil. At least that's with Games Workshop. So I really love this box set. I've had a lot of fun looking at it so far. It's every time they put out a new set, it's always just really, really well thought out and well done as far as the miniatures. So next I'm going to close up this sleeve, and we're going to go to the next compartment of the box set. Underneath this sleeve is where the rest of the goodies for this box set are going to be. This box set is a lot different than other ones. Normally you get a little rule book. This one you get a full-blown 200 plus page hardback rule book. It's a great value. These things are normally $60, so with the cost of the box set with over 50 miniatures, it was a great buy. You have all the lore that catches you up on Warhammer 40k. The game, I'm guessing, starts 100 years after the end of 7th edition, according to the new Dark Imperium novel. So it catches you up on all that and gives you all the rules for the new 8th edition. Also, we have 2 more books. These are focused particularly on the Primaris Space Marines that come in the box set and the Plague Marine. So these come in concert with the indexes. You can still play with just the indexes, but if you get the box set, this has further painting guides for the different factions within the factions. So the Primaris Space Marines have different chapters, where the Plague Marines have different war bands. Next, we have the Assembly Guide, which also comes with a painting guide. And the nice thing with this new Assembly Guide is it is color-coded for what you cut, what is posable, and what you glue. So it's idiot-proof. It's a great addition to the new box set. Next is a quick reference guide for the rules. It's a very basic breakdown. You've already read the book. You got the gist of it. You can use this for quick reference. Next, we also have a new transfer sheet for the Primaris Space Marines for, I think it was 5 or 6 different chapters of Space Marine. So you've got some options outside of doing custom work on making your Primaris Space Marines part of a particular chapter. What to expect next in this video series is I'm going to go step by step on how we assemble these figures. The Primaris Space Marines, we're going to be kit bashing and customizing. I play Space Wolves, and they look a lot different than your standard Space Marine. We're going to be taking things off like Ecclesiarchy icons, purity seals. We're taking all that stuff off, and we're making them look like real Space Wolves. So you're going to learn a little bit about customizing. We're going to do a little bit of airbrushing and brushwork. And then hopefully at the end of all this, when I have the Space Wolves and the Plague Marines fully built and assembled and painted, we're going to be going over how to play the game. Wait, there's more. When you look underneath the bottom of the box, you find the rest of your tools. Here are your bases for basing your models. All the models in the box set come with their appropriate size bases. These are the flying sprues for the new Assaulting Inceptor Flying Primaris Space Marines. And then various bases for the Lord of Contagion and the Plague Marine Flyer. I still can't remember what it's called. Also at the bottom of the box are dice. You need dice to play Warhammer 40k, and they give you the amount that you need to get started. Also, they have their plastic measuring tool. It's good if you're in a tight pinch, but really go to Harbor Freight, go to Home Depot, go to your local hardware store, and get one of these small pocket-sized tape measures. So much easier to use, but if you're in a pinch, this works. That'll be it for this video. Please make sure to like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to not miss out on any future upcoming videos. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also subscribe to the podcast on wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time.